All right, we're starting LEAP review chapter number 3 today. We're going to go from isolationism all the way to World War I in the first part of this chapter. So let's see. In the 19th century, we had imperialism as our foreign policy. Imperialism is the process of building up empires, of claiming land that's not yours and going out and conquering that for economic reasons. During the late 1800s, Europe became interested in controlling foreign countries for cheap raw materials and a market for finished goods. So basically, what the Europeans were doing were going out, conquering new territory, and then they would steal their resources from them, like in Africa, for instance, and then they would make those resources into finished products and sell them back to the Africans. So it's pretty much a perfect way to make money if you don't mind enslaving a bunch of people, which is kind of bad. Let's see. America was late in the imperial race because of a couple of reasons. Number one, our foreign policy was isolationism. The opposite of imperialism, folks. Isolationism means that you're going to stay by yourself. And we had an amazing advantage over everybody else in the world, which was our oceans. With two oceans, one on each side, it made it like a big wall. And if the Europeans wanted to come here to attack us, they would have to travel across the entire ocean to do so. It's one of the major reasons why we won the Revolutionary War instead of the British. Okay, we believe that our oceans would protect us. America was busy settling the West and didn't need any new territory. So the other thing is, we had so much land here because we were too busy. The way I like to say it is, we were too busy stealing from the Indians to worry about stealing from the Africans. So this was our own version of imperialism, but it's right here at home in the United States of America. The Secretary of State at the time was William Seward in 1867, and Seward actually, he bought Alaska. Now, he did this without the permission of Congress, which is a big no-no. Congress is supposed to have the position or the power to spend money in our country, not the executive branch. And the Secretary of State is definitely in the executive branch. So anyway, he offered he offered Russia $7.2 million for Alaska. And everybody in America immediately started making fun of William Seward, saying, dude, you just bought the North Pole. I mean, what are you going to do? Go hang out with Santa Claus and the elves, you know? So, but what proved everybody wrong was the vast amount of natural resources. We sent people, tens of thousands of people, to explore Alaska, and they found gold, they found silver, they found wildlife everywhere, and billions of trees that they could cut down for money. So the natural resources over time changed America's opinion about this. The U.S. policy of acquiring territories is called imperialism. Okay, that's our first one. So right there, imperialism. All right, number 2, the purchase of Alaska from Russia was arranged by Secretary of State William Seward. Americans considered the purchase foolish and gave it nicknames like Seward's Icebox or Seward's Folly. Folly means foolish decision, right there, okay? So what caused Americans to change their mind about the purchase of Alaska? And it's going to be, Alaska was found to be rich in natural resources. All right, number 3. Which factor did not contribute to the development of imperialism in the late 19th century? All right, America's economic interest. That's basically why we did it, okay? We did this to make money. A desire to expand the Navy. Well, in order to have a big empire, you have to have a big Navy. That's what Alfred Mahan said. America's belief in its cultural superiority, maybe. But this one is really the one that doesn't fit in. Okay, at the time, England, or Britain, had a law on the books that said that their navy had to be twice the size as the next biggest navy in the world. Well, if we're trying to dismantle the biggest empire in the world, that would basically be committing suicide for the United States of America. So, all right, Admiral Mahan, the president of the Naval War College, advocated American expansionism. Mahan believed that the nation could not be a world power without a strong navy and overseas bases to support it. You have to have places to park the ships. You have to have places to refuel and to resupply the ships as well. In the mid-1800s, American farmers settled in Hawaii. Sugarcane planters gained control of the Hawaiian government, and also pineapple planters as well. When Queen Liliuokalani objected to American control, business leaders revolted and asked President Cleveland to annex the islands. Cleveland refused, but later on President McKinley agreed, and Hawaii's strategic location made it very important for the United States. So basically what happened, folks, is a group of robber barons came to Hawaii, and they started buying up all the land. They bought like 95% of the land of Hawaii without checking for the queen, with the queen. And so the queen kicked them all out. And eventually President McKinley is going to say that this is our island, our group of islands. This is going to be annexed by the United States of America. And we needed it for two reasons. Number one, it's a mid-Pacific, or it's right in the center of the Pacific Ocean. It's a mid-Pacific trading port with Asia. And the other one was military base, Pearl Harbor, okay? Now later on, Pearl Harbor is going to be famous because that's where the Japanese attacked us, and that's why we entered World War II. All right, how did the annexation of Hawaii further U.S. involvement in international affairs? It gave the U.S. a mid-Pacific port for trade and military pursuits. All right, the last question of this video. The annexation of Hawaii will benefit none but the sugar king of that island, and his belief that it will be bought and presented to him by the American people. Let Hawaii remain an independent republic. The U.S. should not begin the policy of reaching across waves to grasp new territory. This sentence right here is definitely imperialism, reaching across waves to grasp new territory. The writer was most likely rejected which U.S. foreign policy? And this guy sounds very anti-imperialist because he's saying we should leave Hawaii alone.